Hello and welcome to BrookesTV. I'm Molly Childs.
And I'm Alice Little. Vaping is taking Oxford by storm, with Brookes having one of the highest rates of addiction.
Ina Dusatoy went to find out more.
Here at Brookes, vaping is very popular, but there are rules in place to stop students, staff and visitors from vaping on Brookes campuses and accommodations, and opinions on vaping are varied.
I don't support vaping or smoking, and I think our lungs are supposed to breathe oxygen.
Bad for the environment and really bad for your health. But same with a lot of things, really, like smoking in general. It's a better substitute to smoking, but it's still it's sort of overhyped in how good it is.
It's not good. It's not a good thing to do, even though I do it myself. But it definitely should be stopped at some point, I think.
At Brookes, 68% of students said they were addicted to their vapes, and 40% of them didn't even smoke before they started vaping.
Purely because of peer pressure. It's purely because of peer pressure. Because I just like to say, when I was in school, I was not with good company, and basically I got pulled into it.
In public health, we know that whenever you change one behaviour, then the complicated factors that are involved in that behaviour all shift to try and restore the status quo, and that's what's happened with vaping. So we're reducing smoking, and there is good evidence that smoking and vaping, go hand in hand. So the increase in vaping does seem to be quite clearly linked to a reduction in smoking. But as we've seen with young people taking up vaping who didn't smoke before, the system has shifted away from tobacco use to another behaviour. And as I say, we don't know the impact of that. So yes, there are good elements and there is good evidence already that it's doing its job.
The ban on disposable vapes will not affect adults trying to stop smoking, but will be aimed at any underage sales.
I do think it is good because of the, going back to a pro, how accessible it is to get them, how easy it is. As horrible as it is, kids are getting them very quick, very easy, and one way or another they've got one.
Throughout recent years, vaping has become more and more popular amongst university students. This has made Oxford Brookes the second most addicted university in 2024. This is Ina Dusatoy for BrookesTV News.
Up next, the cost of student accommodation has increased year on year.
This is causing students to worry about their finances. Christopher Yu reports.
With the academic year moving near towards the end of second semester, many students are facing the harsh reality of the housing market being more difficult to find. From 2023 October, study shows that for the past 2 academic years, the average cost of student accommodation has risen by 14.6%.
Recently, I was notified that next year student maintenance loans will go up by 2.5%, whilst inflation is running 4 and 5%. So there's that tension immediately. Then when you incorporate that into the fact that accommodation prices are going up more than inflation, again, you're creating that environment where student funding is worth less and their expenditure is increasing. So it's kind of very difficult, I would suggest, as being a student today. So you need to understand how to budget very effectively. You need to make sure that you have the financial resources available to you to succeed.
But why is the cost of accommodation rising so dramatically?
It's mainly due to all living expenses rising. We're on a constant rise for living expenses in Oxford, in the UK in general, and I think that's a big part of it as to why student accommodation is rising. It's another living expense.
Living costs in the UK prompts Oxford Brookes to increase price, forcing students to make financial trade-off and sacrifice to secure a roof over their heads.
Our costs go up year on year. Energy costs, staffing costs, all of that other stuff. However, the student fees are capped. So you can understand now the tension between what the university gets as income staying static, whilst the costs of delivering education have gone through the roof. It's not that universities are greedy or trying to make the money off the back of students. It's not that at all. Quite the opposite, in fact.
With the new academic year slowly approaching, students are in a tightrope between need and sacrifice, which makes them ask the question, will they finally have a place to call home next year? This is Christopher Yu, BrookesTV.
Oxford Brookes University has announced the closure of music among other courses.
This has left lecturers jobless and students without a course to study. Rory Wilburn investigates.
These are the music classrooms that once echoed with the sound of instruments, now empty and dormant after the closure of the music course here at Oxford Brookes University. This came as a shock announcement late last year, leaving some students uncertain with what's going on currently, let alone in the future. Music students such as Hafer and Esther are still unsure which modules will be available through to the end of the year.
So for me it was a bit stressful because it was approaching our essay deadlines and stuff, and it was just a bit confusing because it wasn't mentioned by the Chancellor himself to us or by any, member of the management in the university.
This comes after music, alongside maths, was announced to be closed with further staff cuts in courses such as English, history and film.
We don't really know much about what happens now because it really depends what you want to do, because some of the modules will be severely affected. They have closed music for external financial situations like inflation, and that's the main reason, also because we're not receiving many students. We only have 5 people in the first year.
Students were told that staff leaving would not affect their studies, however the staff who were let go are still yet to be replaced. There have been in-person protests as well as posters and social media efforts to raise awareness and campaign to stop the closure. And due to a lack of communication from the university, the students were forced to take matters into their own hands to try and get a response about their situation.
We just hope that, the Chancellor has the decency to actually face us, the music students, and maybe just send out a letter or just any communication, because it's quite a short-sighted decision that's been taken.
The university have said while they deeply regret having to make reductions in staff numbers, compulsory redundancies cannot be avoided for all affected staff. They are trying to make adaptations to the approach which reduce an impact, while still making the required cost savings. This is Rory Wildman, BrookesTV.
Oxford County Council plans to introduce a new scheme to reduce traffic levels.
This has left Oxford citizens divided. Alicia Howard reports the details of this new plan.
Oxford, the council intends to install 6 traffic filters throughout the city, 3 of which will be set up within city centre. The intention of adding these traffic filters is to reduce overall traffic levels throughout Oxford by managing the use of certain roads via private cars. By requiring a car to have a permit while the filters are in operation, the hope is to make transport options such as walking, cycling and public transportation more desirable. These filters will not be physical barriers, instead using automatic number plate recognition to monitor and enforce restrictions during operating times. Locals within Oxford City can apply for a permit which allows the holder to drive through filters up to 100 days a year. Residents in the rest of Oxfordshire can have one which allows up to 25 days annually. Those who pass the filters without a permit within these operating times will be fined up to £70 or £35 if paid promptly. The traffic filters will not be in operation until October, when Oxford Rail Station aims to complete its upgrades and Botley Road reopens to public traffic. Botley Road has been closed since April 2023. Some shopkeepers and traders are concerned that more time is needed between the reopening of the road and the introduction of the filters. They believe that this will help businesses recover financially. Do you think the addition of traffic filters will help reduce traffic in Oxford?
I think, to be honest, since I've joined the university, since they put all these traffic measures in, it's got slightly worse. Especially like Cowley Road and leading down to Cowley Road, there's just always backup now. Or every time I'm there, I notice it. So I'd say it's probably got a bit worse.
After the university, there's been lots of traffic. The roundabout is not working very well. So I think so far people could do more, could do better.
Do you think traffic restrictions will make the general public more willing to use alternate forms of transport?
Sure, yes, I think so, but also because I see Brookes Bus is using electric bus, so it's also sustainable and ethical, so I think yes.
I don't think it'll affect students too much because they mostly walk around, but I think it's probably better for people living out of town who commute in. If the bus services are on the edge of the city, it's good.
I'd say it's definitely convinced me to take more public transport, but that's more just because I don't want to be stuck in the traffic. I'd rather just walk or even get a bus a different direction or get on the electric scooters and stuff, but that's more just to avoid the traffic rather than anything else.
Until October, we will have to wait and see what effect the filters will have on the centre as a whole. This is Alicia Howard for BrookesTV News.
Following on from the previous story, the LTNs aim to reduce traffic in some areas of Oxford, mostly around Cowley Road.
Ruben Blanchard spoke to a cabinet member to discuss the effects of the local area.
Low traffic neighbourhoods, also known as LTNs, have been in effect in the east side of Oxford for nearly 2 years. This city planning initiative was seen as very controversial by local residents. I'm here to interview a local councillor for her view on this polemic issue.
So the original intentions was not of the city planners at all, because it's not a city function, it is a county function. But certainly, I mean, the objectives of low traffic neighbourhoods are around road safety. Traffic movements are directly correlated with the amount of times people get hit by cars. Air quality, enabling people to make different sort of choices. Noise, actually, and sort of enabling more sustainable forms of transport. So the East Oxford LTNs have been in for 18 months. The Cowley ones have been in for 2.5 years. Certainly, advantages we have seen are, the East Oxford LTNs. I think we did a back of the envelope calculation and worked out that, air quality had improved by about 20% for like 10,000 people. It's a little bit early to get the stats for road traffic accidents because they take about 18 months to come through, so it's quite difficult to tell that. I think there was some monitoring done about traffic, car, cycling, pedestrian movements, and they sort of more or less lined up with what we thought had happened. Cycling had gone up, I think walking was sort of similar, driving within had obviously gone down a reasonable amount. On the boundary roads it was reasonably flat.
And to end off, here we see the former location of the eatery known as Atomic Burger, which was a popular burger cafe located on the Cowley Road, which closed last year due to low foot traffic attributed to the lack of parking spaces in the area, as many side roads no longer allowed parking, and the closest nearby car park required customers to pay to park for 2 hours only. Overall, this limited the ability for customers to access the cafe and limited the potential foot traffic and revenue that the location could see each day.
This has been but one of the impacts of the low traffic neighbourhoods, and as long as there are high carbon emissions in the area, they might be here to stay. This is Ruben Blanchard, BrookesTV News, signing off.
That's certainly something that will divide residents' opinions, and that's it for this half.
Later we'll be taking a look at the covered market and housing in Oxford. See you after the break.
Welcome back. Now, let's have a look at Oldest Market, which is celebrating its 250th anniversary.
Some traders and citizens gave their thoughts about the celebrations. Bridget Encalada has been to find out more.
The Cover Market is hosting a wide variety of celebration events to highlight its development and growth over the years. In a statement, the Cover Market said that the events will solidify the market as a vibrant place for people to come together.
The market is basically like a small little village and everybody knows each other and does each other's favours. It's nice to say morning to each other and we get to know each other pretty well as well. So yeah, it's like a little family.
There's a lot more support from locals. We're getting more and more people locally just coming to support us because they all want to contribute to this place being here for longer than 250 years.
Located in the heart of Oxford, one of the largest running markets in the UK is celebrating its 250th anniversary throughout 2024.
250 years, it's incredible to think that this has been standing for that long. So to be in an iconic market with everybody else, with all the celebrations going on, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, love it.
The Cover Market has been in operation since 1774. From its modest origins, it has brought in visitors from all over the world and continuously supported local businesses and traders.
I like that the market is a place within Oxford. I like coming to visit it, so I guess it has meaning in the fact that it adds and enriches Oxford community. All throughout my degree I've come to the market and it's been a good way to escape from life and have a look round and chill out.
Many of these businesses are family-owned that has been passed on through generations.
Be part of this community is not only to sell our goods, it's only to have or to know a bit of history of every trader here in the Cover Market. It's really special. Everyone has their own signature and their own things, so it's good to be part of this multicultural environment.
In 2023, the Council approved a £6.5 a £7 million investment to refurbish, upgrade and improve the market, while remaining sensitive to its unique heritage and history. The investment includes effort to make the market street more pedestrian-friendly and create a more spacious commercial centre.
I think creating an area for the covered market where people can do al fresco dining in the spring-summer months, I think is just fantastic. It will create difficulties in terms of deliveries, so there's got to be some sort of a compromise somewhere, but I think it's a great thing for the covered market.
This is Bridget Encalada for BrookesTV News.
Oxford is known for hosting a variety of events where people from all backgrounds can get involved.
Tafik Hassan visited a local art exhibition where the homeless shared their creativity.
Major concern in Oxford impacting individuals dealing with financial difficulties, mental health issues and a lack of social services.
A unique local event is taking place in the heart of Oxford. This event provides an opportunity for even our most overlooked members of society to showcase their creative abilities here in Oxford.
In 2023, the estimated number of individuals sleeping rough across the nation increased by 27%, reaching a total of 3,898. The majority of individuals experiencing homelessness in England are men from the UK aged over 26. This trend has remained consistent in previous years. We interviewed Simon Amundsen, in which he had this to say.
Homeless Oxfordshire is a charity. We work across the county providing supported accommodation for people who have experienced homelessness. So we provide the accommodation and the support for them so they can start rebuilding their lives.
He gave us more information about the exhibition and what was the motivation behind organising it.
The team at Homeless Oxfordshire wanted to do an exhibition for quite a long time. A lot of our residents find art and creativity a really good way of expressing themselves, from large mural pieces through to very small pencil drawings. So I think this is about really recognising that people are still people.
In 2022 to 23, Homeless Oxfordshire were able to address homelessness by offering 50,000 nights of stable accommodation and serving 49,000 meals. The organisation ran 146 substance abuse recovery groups, carried out 166 clinical psychology sessions and assisted 80 individuals in transitioning to a suitable accommodation. Homeless Oxfordshire's commitment is clear in these initiatives. Simon shared his thoughts on the 3 goals he aimed to achieve with the exhibition.
Raise awareness of homelessness as an issue. It's to get people thinking and talking about homelessness and what it means for people. And it's also to dispel some of the myths around homelessness so people can perhaps connect on a more human level to those they may see out in the street of Oxford who are rough sleeping. So we've had a lovely response for the exhibition, both through the community and our residents. It's been amazing just to see some of our residents come in and see their artwork up on a wall in a proper gallery.
I think it's a wonderful event. It's a great opportunity for us as a trust to sort of show the skills and the ambitions of our clients.
The mural there is absolutely fabulous.
We look forward to the next opportunity to connect, but for now, this is Tafik Hassan from BrookesTV's News.
Up next, a tourist hotspot in Headington is the waiting results of a significant decision.
While still open for business, Nick Mitchell looks how this has affected the owner.
The world-famous Headington Shark House has been banned from Airbnb as Oxford City is cracking down to keep areas residential. Like many local businesses, this house brings in visitors and tourism, but the council sees it differently.
It's been let out as an Airbnb by me since 2019, and I think might have been 2 years ago now, the council suddenly decided that they liked it so much that you could never take the shark down and they want to make it a heritage asset, which again is sort of an odd symmetry where they're imposing control on the property. I don't really know what the council is doing. They, I guess, have a view of how the local economy should be structured, and they're trying to use the planning laws in what I think is a way they're not intended or designed to be used.
The planning laws in Oxford were made in the 1980s to regulate hotels. Last year, there were up to 1,300 short-term rentals, with over half of these being entire properties. This number is expected to rise significantly.
I think this is probably like a very high-profile place. Given the ambiguity in the law, I think it looks to me like they're trying to form some kind of precedent by selectively going after certain places to see if they can. And this is a good place to start, if any, if you're a councillor looking to do that.
A cabinet member for housing said that the uncontrolled rise in the number of short lets deprives our city of much needed homes and can cause misery in quiet neighbourhoods. They added that the Shark House is not in a location we consider suitable for short lets, which is why we have previously refused an application for change of use and why we are now taking planning enforcement action against the property. Public opinion was split when the Shark House first appeared in Oxford, but now it is a tourist hotspot and universally loved by both locals and visitors.
Controversially, it was supposed to be taken down maybe 15, 20 odd years ago, but luckily I think a group sort of saved it. So yeah, no, I think it's an art. You know, you need things like this in the world to make life interesting, don't you?
An appeal on the decision to shut down the Shark House has been made, with a 6-month wait.
The question is, how long will he be able to avoid the jaws of the council? Nick Mitchell, BrookesTV.
Next, even 3 years later, the effects of the pandemic still linger.
Housing companies are some of the more affected. My colleague Molly Charles takes a look.
Hello, I'm Molly Charles, and join me today as we investigate the struggles that property developers went through during COVID.
Well, to start with, the government very quickly decided that house building was an industry that could continue. And I think that was largely because a lot of what we were doing was out in the open air. And if you remember, there was that, but there was also the importance placed upon the house building industry to keep the economy sort of going. So the government sort of gave it a green light, but we were regulated by the Health and Safety Executive, who are sort of a governing body who look at our building practices. And so they liaised with the government to try and create safe ways of working. So it was still quite tricky for us, because what that meant was it took us a lot longer to build our houses. And some of the complications that brought on were that people that were expecting to move into their houses within a certain time frame were having those time frames extended. That was one of the big knock-on effects for COVID for us, is that the supply chain, so our materials and our people and the speed at which we could build our houses was significantly delayed. So trying to manage people's expectations through our sales teams was also quite difficult, because a 3-month window of reserving the house to moving in could then become 6 months or become 9 months. So the whole supply chain was affected as well. So then moving into sales, I think, yeah, but velocity was just reduced anyway, because people weren't out looking to buy houses. It was a very, very different selling experience, and as a consequence of that, yeah, the sales velocity was significantly affected. But we still sold houses. We moved people in safely, and we managed to take new reservations.
This is Molly Charles reporting for BrookesTV News.
Over 2,000 students will be attending the long-awaited Brooks Boxing Fight Night.
This is exciting for Oxford, as it will be one of the biggest student events of 2024. My colleague Az Little reports.
Join me today whilst I interview one of the 18 fighters fighting at Oxford Brooks' biggest student event. What have you had to do in preparation in terms of diet and daily routine?
I had to cut like a few kilos, so I've had to go on like quite a strict diet, but I exercise, like I do 2 sessions a day, that's about it.
What opportunities and benefits does fighting give to you?
Fitness. I've been so fit, and like obviously it's given me a routine in the fact of like I make sure I'm doing exercise every day.
How are you feeling towards the weigh-in and the actual event?
Quite nervous, because I had to lose all these kilos, and I think I've hit the mark, but obviously it's quite stressful, like losing the kg and then your weight being called out in front of everyone.
What's the atmosphere like amongst your competitors?
It's really good, like we all hype each other up, like we're good at like training each other and keeping the intensity going.
Have you heard about the Oxford Brooks' Fight Night?
Yes, I have, and I am going on Friday.
Have you attended this event any other years?
I have. I'm in my 3rd year of uni, so this will be my 3rd year, and it's always really good.
Do many of your friends attend this event?
Yeah, all of them. If they didn't, I wouldn't want to go.
What do you think about the pricing of the tickets?
I think it's a bit ridiculous. So last year and the year before it was £50 per ticket, and now it's £60, and obviously we're all students. That's quite a lot. I had to ask my mum to buy it for me. Like, it's not great, is it?
This is Alice Little reporting for BrookesTV News.
That's it for this week. If you would like to see more, please check out the BrookesTV YouTube playlist.
And if you have a story to share, please email brookestv@brookes.ac.uk. We'll see you soon.
Goodbye.